yeah, we take it up from there. So it's 6:10, and give me thumbs up. Jemima, if we're to kick off, if kickoff is okay, thank you. Awesome, guys. So my name is Frank, and I am the founder of Tag.io. And like everyone here, at some point as well, I was a student of the craft, and currently I'm building my own project. And before now, not before now, currently I still run a community um, called MakeWave, which is an AI no-code community where we come together to explore the technology and also, yeah, learn as a community. So today, we'll be exploring how, especially from my experience mostly, because I'm sure everyone has diverse experiences, but I'll be sharing from my own eyes and view, um, how I've been able to navigate or how I'm currently navigating the tech ecosystem. And we'll be exploring it from these different lights, one being from the networking perspective, from mentorship perspective, and as well from community growth. And without further ado, we'll be jumping right into the agenda for today. So today we will not be talking about, say, general networking. I will not be giving general, say, networking advice. We're going to be exploring, say, practical ways to actually connect. Of course, find great mentors and also grow in our communities. I'm sure we all belong to different communities, be it on WhatsApp, Discord, and as well your current learning community. Uh, yes, let's proceed. So, why does this currently matter? Of course, from the different conversations we've kicked off earlier, a lot of us are picking up technical skills, and with technical skills, there is an aspect of balance to it, which is now the soft skill aspect. So as we pick up, as we grow, as we build our skills, we have to also understand that a lot is changing in the industry, and there is need to also improve on the soft skills, the human skills, the interpersonal connection skill, and that is those are the aspects we'll be looking at today. So as we go on, it's good to highlight there's a lot of changes happening in the market, especially with the entrance of, say, AI and as well in other aspects and a lot of aspects, right? And yeah, we notice a lot of things in the industry is getting saturated, and there's a lot of changes currently happening, and also keeping up with these different changes can sometimes be tough. That's why community is important. And sorry, let's see if we went through that. Okay, that's why community is important and why it's important for us to build our network. And what that as well looks like is having, say, mentors, people who are ahead of us in the industry to give us that insight, because it's practically impossible to kind of go this particular journey we've all decided to go alone. We need people, we need colleagues in the field, we need to hear from people who are actually in that uh, who are doing what we, yeah, should I call them colleagues in the field as well. So I'd like to highlight that you're currently in a very powerful room right now, which is Zindua. I have some affiliation with Zindua in some sense. I know what happens on there, and it's a really good platform um, for students to actually not just learn but actually connect and yeah, improve their craft and as well make the right connection to thrive in the ecosystem. So what we'll cover today is, like I mentioned earlier, I'll be approaching this from my journey, my experience as a technical product manager. So I work for first a startup based in the US, and on the side I build my own startup, and yeah, I'll be approaching this particular subject from my perspective and my journey, and we'll be looking at networking that actually works, Like I mentioned earlier, it's important for us to as well network and collaborate with people we share rooms with and people we encounter out there who are in the space. Because the human aspect of things is as well as important as is also as important as um, the technical skills we're learning. So we'll be highlighting, say, mentorship as well, as looking at, say, world-class mentorship as well as local and accessible mentorship, exploring tools and strategies. And then would also dive into building in public, documenting your journey, and then personal agency. Because as much as, yes, we're picking up the skills, we have to also understand that um, hunting for job at the end of the journey is one thing. Building something, even while you're still undergoing the process, is another thing. So personal agency is something I'm a big advocate for. And I would also share, say, action plans, things that I've implemented for myself that I found really helpful, and you might also find helpful. So yes, my journey. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a technical product manager that's transitioned to a founder, and how that all started was earlier, me just like you, attending different events, of course, trying to network, meet people in the industry. And of course, I was fortunate to meet an awesome person at an event who, a couple of months down the line, called me up and was like, my company is looking for this hire, and I think you're a great fit. And all that happened for me because I was in the right room, and I was putting myself out there. And that's something that I really advocate for everyone here, both as a student or as a professional out there. It's important for you to put your story out there, to reach out to people. You never know what might come up, especially as there's so much changes in the industry. So at that first job, I think a couple of a year plus, a couple of years, 1 year, 8 months down the line, that contract ended, and that left me with a decision, which was basically, should I travel back and get back to what I was initially doing, or actually build something, right? And that was when I kicked off with the community I spoke about, Make Wave, which was because I started dabbling into AI building solo, and it was daunting to keep up with everything that was happening in the space. And I was like, okay, why not? Is there a community out there first that does something like this? And we are talking about 2 years ago, where things are still fairly new and unstable compared to right now, where a lot of things are stable in the space, in the AI space, and uh, there's a lot of stable changes right now compared to back in the days where there's so much happening at the same time, and keeping up was kind of daunting, right? So that led me to building that community that I could not find, and yeah, running that community. Makewave also now took me into um, this aspect where I found a pain point, because as someone who was also networking and also hosting people, I noticed that there was a pain point, and this is basically something I wish that I had earlier on. So basically, having a tool or a system for networking that has a high return on investment. So that was me building CatTag, which is basically a networking platform as well, something that helps with networking. And I believe that aspect of my journey led to, of course, us having this talk, because I got to build in public. I got to do something with communities, and finally took agency to build something in public. So of course, the tech ecosystem is a living map. So it's not just say companies, it's not jobs, it's not particularly jobs, or even say community in the sense of uh, something that's not living. These are all organisms that are made up of, say, different moving parts. So yeah, of course, it's people, it's relationship, and it's, yeah, of course, community. And we are all in one form or another involved with these communities. And for people in this room right now, you're currently in a really good position. For those people who are new in the industry, like someone mentioned earlier, it can be very intimidating at first, but then it gets better because yes, there are people in there you can exchange ideas with. There are people who can soothe you through that journey. There are people to learn from. Aside from, yeah, and you don't get to do it solo. So you get to build those skills to help you navigate, of course, your career and as well as accelerate um, uh, your current position, wherever you may be in the journey. So as we go on, if you have questions, feel free to drop it in the chat, and hopefully at the end of the session, we'll get time to go over questions and explore, yeah, just explore questions basically. So networking, we'll start with networking. Um, Right now, there is an old way and a new way of networking. Basically, initially we were told, yes, just show up, attend different events. But if you're not attending these events with a strategy in mind, it can be, let me say, waste of time because there's so much happening. You just have to be in the right room at the right time and go there with an intent, right? And what that basically looks like is having a plan or a goal for being in certain rooms, right? When you're networking, it's important you do your research, understand who is in this room, who in this room relates to something I'm doing, because that basically tells you or helps you find, say, mentors, for an example, because it's possible for you to be in a room with your next employer, your co-founder, a potential co-founder, and you just focus on yes, I'm just here to learn and then leave. But that other aspect that might have yielded a different form of value, you leave on the table. So while we are learning, we still have to understand why networking and interacting with other individuals is important. So the old way of networking was basically, say, collecting card, being very salesy, in the sense where yeah, you build something, you're practically a salesman. You're just looking to get, and also the awkward small talks. If any one of us have been to, of course, I'm sure we attend events, been to events where there's a lot of small talk. It's just for visibility mostly. You just go, you just have the small talk, and you go home without a return on that investment. Probably if you're buying tickets, or even if it's a free event, your time is expensive, right? Now the new way basically is what we'd explore, which is genuine value exchange, which was an example of what I highlighted earlier was being very intentional with networking, um, collaborating, reaching out to potential collaborators, right? And what that looks like is I know what I'm looking for, and I think this person that might help me is in this room. Hence, I'm coming here with a goal and an intention and a system to help me get the best result from this networking. So, like I've always advocated for, it's very important you start with the person in the same room as you. Uh, my story in the story I highlighted earlier, that opportunity came because I was in the same room as someone. So while you're studying, while you're going through the program, it's important you understand the person sitting next to you might potentially be your co-founder. There might be somebody you can potentially collaborate with, even if it's not now in the future. So it's important you keep that connection green. You never know where job opportunities would come from. So uh, always try to leverage your immediate network. And yeah, this is an add-on, probably just kick us, explore projects you guys are working on, explore events you guys are attending. So it's important you guys share information like that. Proceeding to Yeah, proceeding to mentorship. So this is an aspect that is not very much spoken about, but it's very, very important as we progress in our journey, right? We need people who has gone this route we are trying to venture in. There are certain industries that has been really, really been impacted by different changes, AI and the rest of it. So having people who are actively in that industry who can give you insight you wouldn't ordinarily get is really important. And as well, I'm a big advocate for, say, talking to uh, now I'm going to bring this product perspective to things. So talking to customers, but then we're going to change it to say talking to, should it be people in this case? So there's several things you can, several insights you can get from someone who is actively going through that challenge than you will ordinarily get if you say you're reading or you're watching YouTube, you're doing something. If it's not that issue, if it's not something, rather someone who is currently in that situation or in that case can give you a different kind of insight you wouldn't ordinarily get unless you go out there and interact and try to have someone in your corner who gives you that kind of insight. So basically, mentor will give you shortcuts, they give you feedback, and basically as well introduction to rooms you might not ordinarily get the chance to be in. So by mentors, these are like probably people who are already in jobs. So it's easy. It's way easier for someone who gives you recommendation for you to get a job rather via say recommendation or a referral than basically just through skills. So hence why technical skills made mixed with mentor's guidance is equal to an exponential growth, just like I've outlined. Um, for me personally, this is how I've been able to say assess say mentors. So I'm not sure if anyone here knows ADP list. Uh, Please do give me a thumbs up if you know or if you've heard of ADP lists or if you've used ADP list. Okay, just one person. Awesome. So this is what's checking out, guys. So you get to see industry experts working in and around the world, people working in Google, Microsoft. I mean, these are people from different geographical area from you. This could be people in the US, in Europe. These are people working in mega companies who are out there looking for people that looking for mentees, right? And ADP list is practically free, and I've been opportune to kind of have conversations with um, industry experts I wouldn't ordinarily have access to, or rather, if you had gone the cold reach out route where you reach out to them via, could it be LinkedIn for them to get back to you? There is it's they're busy, of course, but these are people who on ADP list, these are people who practically come out and they're like, okay, yes, I want to talk to someone, I want to mentor someone. That is a really good resource for you guys. If you're open to checking it out, I would really upvote that one. As well as say Zindua School, of course, it's a school that's been there and they've been people who've gone through that same path, your current truth right now, this current journey where you're at, whether you're a newbie or you're an intermediate person, there's someone who has gone through this program. So practically reaching out to an alumni or an instructor basically would be something I advocate for. Don't just come learn and go. Try to reach out or ask questions. Who are those who have gone through this program? How can I tap from their wealth of wisdom? Try to put yourself out there in that format as well. And something I've noticed as well is LinkedIn. A lot of techies, especially say those who are new or early on in their career, tend to push forward that aspect of building their profile. So LinkedIn being a networking platform is one I would really point out that it's important to start early, start building that profile, start putting out whatever it is you're building, start building that followership because a lot of industry experts, a lot of uh, companies are out there just scouting. They're just passively scouting, passively. So you never know what you might land. But if you don't actively build that aspect of your socials, uh, it's going to come off or rather it's going to be more for disadvantage than an advantage in the long run. So I'd advocate that you also look into growing your LinkedIn as soon as possible, and then communities as well. I'm sure we belong to different tech communities, and I'm going to advocate you join communities. It's really important. Attend events, put yourself out there, hear from people. You get to meet. Personally, I've met quite a lot of people from events that I think it would have been harder for me if I had reached out to them boldly. So putting yourself out there and visibility is something that you should actually prioritize even at the earlier stage of your career. So something else I would like to also bring to our attention is building in public. So this is basically the modern superpower. This is the content era. We consume maximum content more than ever. We are always on our phones and we're watching something. What if we kind of flip the script where we are putting out something, we were putting out something we are learning. You're sharing what you are learning, you're sharing what you are building. That is actually something that would drastically improve your chances of being seen, of course, coming across opportunities, and if by the time you get to the job market, you would understand this better because most organizations will be like, can you send your GitHub link? Okay, that is one thing they will ask for. But if you notice, they also ask for your LinkedIn handle as well. Hence why you should really strategically start putting out some of those content that helps boost your credibility. So some of the platforms that you can or should look into building that optimizing would be, say, LinkedIn. Like I mentioned earlier, X is a really good place because you get to get feedback, direct feedback from uh, you can easily, or if you've had a situation where you had a bad experience from a company, most times when you reach out to them via whatever portal they have, they take time to respond. But when you go to link to X and mention them there, they respond in time. So X has its strength. So I'd also advocate that for those who has that strong user base or prefer X, yes, it's good to as well start building credibility on that platform as well. Pending when you get ready to get to when you start hunting for jobs. So while you're learning, what you learn, try to use it as content, put it out there, try to share the learning. I'm also a believer in something you can't teach, something you can't communicate differently, you don't actually know it. So you can, I think that's the difference between knowledge and applied wisdom, right? So yes, I know I've heard about this, but how am I reapplying it in something different? So that's something we should optimize for as we grow in our different endeavors out there. So some of us tend to have, I would say, an imposter syndrome when it comes to putting what our work out there. So it's good to just note that this is not bragging. You're practically sharing your process. Somebody shared earlier that they're new, that of course they've just ventured into development, and of course it's something that is it can be intimidating. This is an avenue for you to actually put out what you learn. You learn something tangible, something small. You don't have to be a professional at it. Try to communicate it so people see how you started and where you are, or how just people see your growth process. So it's really important to build in public, learn in public as well. Um, yeah, just to move on. Yeah, people love following authentic processes. I believe we've seen this severally as we interact on the social media. People like to see people who people like the underdog. People like to see that process. So don't hesitate to put what you're learning, what you're building out there, um, because building is one thing, and so leaving that cool idea in your local host is, let me not. It's not a waste of time. Yes, you learned, but then get out of your own head, put it out there, get real feedback, because that is basically what great products do. That's what great company do. They take it out and improve and learn from real life feedback, and you never know what that might attract. So yeah, it attracts mentors. You get to see collaborators. People might reach out based on just you taking that step of faith of putting what you're learning or documenting your process in that format. And yeah, opportunities. This is more of an inbound kind of opportunity chasing, because now people are seeing what you're doing and you get more DMs, compared to you now reaching out to people when you're ready for opportunities. And of course, start small, one post a week. Yeah, just do it. Just do it. The Nike logo just says, the Nike mantra says, just do it. That's something I'm going to really urge us to look into soon enough. Um, Also, say highlighting community growth. Um, I mentioned earlier on in my journey, I looked for certain communities I felt like I needed, and I didn't find them, or maybe I just didn't have the access to um, that soon enough. And for me, it was more like, okay, you have to build yours. And hence, that was where MakeWave came from. And further down the line, I believe MakeWave really opened opportunities for me. I've had the opportunity to kind of be in several rooms I wouldn't have ordinarily have been in, because that kind of like gave me the credibility, gave me that sense of an industry expert, someone who is, mind you, it doesn't make me an expert in the sense that I know it all or I know the most in there, but just taking that initiative, putting whatever it was I was working out there, talking about the little stuff I know, kind of like gave me access to opportunities early on that I think would really be very helpful if we think about such routes as we proceed in our endeavors, guys. So, of course, show up to communities, the ones you are part of course, show up, engage. You never know who is watching, you never know who is in the room. And yes, of course, you have to contribute. Most people are in WhatsApp group or something where they just digest the information. They just want to take what people are putting out. But you have to, it's an exchange, you don't come with that perspective of I just want to take. You come with the perspective of I have value as well to give. That would actually get you more ROI, return on investment, compared to if you're just taking from what everyone else is putting out there. So highlighting, of course, level up, organize small things and speak. As much as, yes, we say we are learning, yes, we are new, irrespective of, we all have our different journey. For someone who is new, you are your story can resonate to a lot of other folks who are on that same level as you. So there's always a market, there's always someone who is in your level, there's always someone who is coming before you, there's always someone ahead of you. So there is never a good time to start. And you remember the saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time to plant a tree is today. So the sooner you start putting yourself out there and communicating and reaching out and networking, the better. And most of us would be like, we can hold off on this part. We'll do it later. Later is always a bad idea. The sooner you get to it, the better. You never know where opportunity would come or when you might need these opportunities. So the sooner you start watering this different avenues, the better it would actually be for us as builders. Before I proceed, so it's not as if so I don't, it's not a one-way trip where I just keep talking and talking. Please do ask questions, or if someone has something they would like to add on this before we proceed, uh, let's hear it, please. Do we have questions so far? Do we have contributions or something anyone would like to highlight? Mhm. Mm. Awesome. That's a really good question. So first would be, I would advocate for the route of asking for, say, your common light, it's more of I want to be mentored. Let me see, I think I kind of documented. a question, a really good way to approach this. Excuse me, let me scroll to that particular um huh. So a really way to approach this would be okay. Sorry guys. Hold on, I'm trying to look for a specific I did put together a specific way that that can be approached. If you're reaching out to someone and uh, it's a cold reach out of obviously, and you're like, obviously you can go for a job, you approach someone based on value, you know, probably they're working on something, you show that you're interested in that ground, you go through whatever it is, if whether they're making posts or something, you've interacted with their posts and you're reaching out from that perspective, a connecting line, right? um hold on. I want to read verbatim something I had put down on how that can be approached. Mm, mm, I think I missed that, but the point I'm trying to make is when you're reaching out, respect their time. You understand these guys are really busy. So you're approaching them based on the fact that I have something specific. I'm looking for just a really brief moment of your time to get advice on something, you know? And once you've gotten that first crack, once you've gotten that first response, it's easier to go from there. But from the get-go, don't dump it all at once. Understand that these guys are busy. And when you're reaching out from the perspective of a connecting line first. I've interacted with a post you've made, or I see you're building something and um, I've done certain kind of research, and I think you're coming from that perspective of value first, not from I just want to take, right? So I think I would share the slide. I'm not sure why I'm not able to find that particular template, but there are certain templates I've used that have really converted for me when it comes to reaching out to people. Mm, okay. Yeah, I guess once I find that, I would address that same question. Uh, but hopefully the little insight I've been able to share with regards to being very intentional, so you know what you're looking for, so you're not vague, because it's going to come off as unserious if you don't have something specific you're looking for. So I'm looking for this specific feedback. um I see you in this space. Can I get a couple minutes of your time because I'm looking for an advice in this specific field? That kind of makes you intentional and highlights that you respect their time. And uh, yeah, if it's someone who is really open to, say, mentorship or mentoring, that person would actually give you more heat if you come very specific. So yeah, that's a 2 cents I would share on that. And hopefully once the slide goes out, you'd see a couple of templates that would help in crafting some of those reach outs. Do we have a different question? Something else someone would like to highlight before we proceed? And if we're good, we can just get going. Okay. So just to also highlight some pitfalls. Oh, okay. Okay. I see a question. What are some of the challenges I had when applying for jobs? So I would be very honest, it's a very saturated market right now, right? So irrespective of where you are at, uh, I think the gap between building and uh, the gap between, say, the technical gap between non-technical guys the gap between technical and non-technicality has really kind of closed a bit because of AI, if not drastically, because we have a lot of people who are shipping things which initially would require a team of devs to do. So right now, it's really important to really say stand out. So something I experienced at the time was more along the line of because I've not been home. If you notice, I'm not around. I'm not from around here, so assessing the job markets in a different country, that's really crazy for me. So a way for me to the only way I was able to do that or crack that was from a referral, someone who I interacted with initially from an event, of course, was who gave me that referral, and I didn't get to even submit a CV, you know, that's really got me through. So hence why it's important to really stand out by some of the points I've mentioned earlier, by building in public, sharing your process, documenting your journey. You know, those initiatives take you through, kind of sell you better than someone who is solely just building without putting themselves out there. So personally, for me, it's more of say geographical challenge number one. And aside from geography, we understand the job market is really tight. Whoever is in the job right now is holding it real tight because they understand it's tough. You know, there's a lot of people going out of job because of AI. There are a lot of jobs now that AI has taken, you know, and is still taking. So the sooner we we prioritize certain coming with some way to differentiate ourselves from the head, you know, the better. So of course, investing in those investing in those network, which I did not have initially, was what got me out of that rut. But the challenge was getting the right person. Where do I find this person? You know, someone works in this company. How do I actually get them? When you follow them on LinkedIn, basically you see them make posts of I'm attending one or two, three events. Now that is where you get the opportunity to actually talk to this person. Ordinarily, you wouldn't. It would be harder for you to code DM them, you know. So hopefully that answers your question. Do we have another question someone might want to ask or contribution? Thank you very much, Lamek. Okay. So I guess we'll proceed, but feel free to drop those questions as they come. So also to highlight, uh, waiting to be ready, of course. Nobody really has it all figured out, you know. The space is still very novel. As much as yes, we have the foundational knowledge, there's still so much happening, there's still so much changing in the space. So waiting to be ready is going to be more of a disadvantage on the long run. So from wherever you're at, start there, start documenting your journey, start building in public. That's something I really advocate. Start networking, you know, start, you never know, somebody you meet in the same, or you kind of studied with would turn out to be your co-founder, you know, because something I noticed I would like to also highlight is it's really tough for you to be a co-founder with someone you know nothing about. So if these guys you're currently building with are not the guys you actually talk to, when you come out, everybody's a stranger, you know. You don't know these people, you've not been in the same room as them. So even if you want certain kind of collaboration, you're coming in from some aspect of disadvantage already because uh, you don't really know this person, you've not interacted beforehand, you know, before there was value to exchange. So hence it's important to try to create and water certain connections early on because the people, I believe you me, most of the people you're in class with 10, 20 people. There is a high chance that someone in there would get a job once they go out, even though majority would have to struggle due to the economic constraints, right? But someone definitely will have that opportunity to work somewhere amazing. And because you had the chance to interact with this person early on. That person might be your in to that organization. That person might be the one to give you that recommendation to the next place. So hence why it's really important to water the connections you have right now, right? And just to really buttress again, something I mentioned earlier about um, the alumni of Zindua School. I'm sure there are people who've assessed a certain opportunity, and those are people who have been there before you. That's a really good kill for you. Those are people that you can easily reach out to, right? If you're reaching out to someone who you guys went to obviously the same school, and you're like, okay, I'm also I'm in Zindua School right now. I see you're an alumni. I would like to get advice from you. You guys already have something connecting you already, right? So that is a connection that you should actually uh, take advantage of, where you're currently at. Um, yeah, so the promos, like I mentioned earlier, check out ADP list. This are where you get to see guys who are working in Google, guys in Microsoft, in diaspora, those are guys who are actively doing CSR because some organization kind of demand that their staffs do some CSR duties. So for them, it's work as well, but it's for you to take advantage of these opportunities, right? Check out adplist.com. You find people who are people I see you really get to see them on probably social media or watch them on YouTube, they respond to you like they're normal folks. So definitely check it out. And um of course, the follow-up aspect, this is really important, right? So when you meet someone at event, it's really important that you try to keep that connection active. Don't try to figure out a system where you don't let your connection atrophy, where it's weird for you to reconnect. Try to build conversations based off of uh, the context of, so you met someone at this event, you guys had a context where you connected. Try to expand based on that context, and yeah, just have people on your radar you're keeping a tab on, as you're learning, probably in the next 6 months I'll be out in the job market. The sooner you start having that warm intros, the better for you. Compared to now, I'm looking for a job. Now I'm desperately looking for a job. You come off as pushy, and then it's tougher. But start now, interact with the content, give feedback, ask questions. Start building soft kind of landing early on. So when you actually need this relationship, you can actually leverage them. Um, yep. So I would highlight a couple of, say, takeaways, which is, say, have real conversations with people you share rooms with, people in your class, people in the same school. You don't necessarily have to be doing the same thing, because you can see someone who's a software dev, you see someone else in data, because you're in the same room. Take advantage of that, because once you leave that room, now the field separates you. The gap is even bigger, right? So try to network with not just people in your space, people in different spaces, because you never really know where the opportunity would come from. So, like I mentioned earlier, check out ADP list, send thoughtful outreach, not just something bland. Try to connect with their content and from their content. And of course, we have AIs these days, right? You can have a system basically just review certain kind of content someone has posted and come up with questions that would make the person feel like, yes, this person actually went through my stuff, this person actually paid attention, right? And the story I'd also want to highlight I got to meet an investor from an event as well, right? So in Kenya here, I think I did attend a launch, and an investor who invested in the company that was launching on that day. Somehow we just got talking and we exchanged LinkedIn. And I messaged them. It took like several months. They didn't get back. But then when he got back, it was like we picked up where we left off. So those are like kind of important meeting points where value kind of exchange. You might not get to see the value immediately, but eventually when it's ripe and when you've invested a lot in that kind of connection, when you reap the benefit, it's easier. When it's time to reap the benefit, it's way easier for you compared to trying to build something fresh. So, of course, document one thing you're learning, guys. So you take a class today, try to internalize it, try to rephrase it in your own word, try to apply it in something else, that shows you really understand it, And gone are the days where people prioritize, or rather, when employers prioritize your resume. Now, resume is practically the last thing they look. That's if you even go through the ATS scoring. Right now, you should understand companies have AI practically vetting employees. That is, once they put a job posting and you're just applying, before a recruiter even gets to touch your resume, AI has vetted you. So you have to understand that it's really tougher right now. And just, I believe this whole talk will not be complete without highlighting the importance of being very um, trying to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to industry news, what's happening in the industry, what's changing in the industry. So gone are the days where knowing something is just enough. Now you have to apply it. We have to see you apply it. This still ties to every single thing I've mentioned earlier in the building in public conversations. Now, when you learn something, it doesn't necessarily have to be, say, even in class in Zindua, right? Say, you take YouTube classes, right? You're able to communicate and convert whatever knowledge you've picked up to apply to you. And you don't just let it slip in your local host. Like, you're putting it out there. Yo, guys, this is something I learned today. Yo, guys, this is something I picked up today. Yo, guys, I'm building this project because that's kind of like, that shows your process, and people kind of resonate and connect more with people who do that, right? So building in public is basically the new superpower right now, guys. So don't really take it for light. Don't take it on the light note, guys. It's important. And LinkedIn, of course, update your LinkedIn, guys. We have a lot of guys on here, I believe, who have projects, different things they've worked on, but then they're not updating it out there. They're not putting it out there, and nobody really knows unless you tell. So you don't just work on it. You put it out there. That shows your growth. That shows how you are approaching things. That shows your uniqueness. What else? Of course, documentation. That's something. I think I'm also approaching the end. Let me see if I skipped a couple of stuff. But yes, the ecosystem rewards consistency, guys. I can never emphasize this a lot, enough rather. You know, you have to be consistent in putting things out there. You know, the best time, the best time to start is really now. Put out what you're learning, guys. Be consistent at it. And of course, by generosity, trying to highlight the importance of, say, offer, take internship, guys. I know, understand we need money. There's a lot of things, but even if it's not paid internship, it's really important that you get that experience, put that logo on your resume, right? And even if it's not just the logo, because you've gotten through the first door, the internship is the first door. That's basically, you're a junior employee already. So it's easier for you to get into certain companies as an intern. Volunteer. If you attend certain events, there are a couple of events that comes to town, like the GDG, GDE kind of events. You see, AWS host events, Microsoft host events. If you attend, if you prioritize those kind of communities and try to actively get involved, not just attend. Don't just be the product. So it's not, they don't use you as number. They'll be like, okay, we for the organizer, we hosted an event, 100 people came. You'll just be lost in the number. But if you're going there with your own intention, which was what I highlighted earlier about having a system of trying to get having a system of getting return on your investment, right? Try to reach out to organizers, right? I want to volunteer for something. I want to be the person who do something, just kind of show agency, offer, even if they are not paying, just visibility is key, guys. It's really, really important that people see you a lot. Someone can be like, I saw you somewhere, I don't know where, but I think I've seen this face somewhere. And that is just basically something that gets you through the door because you look familiar. They don't know you, but because they've seen you somewhere, you know. So show up at these communities, um, and also participate. You know, try to participate, not just come and take the content and leave. Do something. Tell them you want to do something. They should for free. You know, try to do something. That's really an edge, right? So start today, guys. Tomorrow is it's never ending. You know, there's always going to be tomorrow, guys. You say tomorrow, tomorrow will come. You say tomorrow, so it's never going to end. And that's procrastination, basically. And it's really important that you start today. You know, so to be realistic, or let's say tomorrow, guys. You know, try to just put something, start, do something. Go look at your LinkedIn, see how to optimize your LinkedIn, right? Uh, Look at some of the learning stuff you're learning and try to convert them into something you put out so people get to see that process. Start today with the person next to you when it comes to connection. With these people in this current room right now, you should actually link up with these people, share LinkedIn with people you're with right now. You know, it's you should it's a long-term game, you know, it's an investment. You know, when you're with people, you have to understand it's an investment. Sometimes it's not about immediate value, it's an investment. Connect early, have conversations early, and when it's time, when um that when you sometimes need it, that's when it gives you a return, you know, a return on that investment you've been putting in. So of course, I would say go build in public, connect genuinely, of course, document your journey. And personally, I'm rooting for you. And yeah, do we have questions or something someone would like to highlight? Because I left the other part of the rest of the 30 minutes. I see it's a 1 hour, 30 minutes meeting for say conversations, genuine conversations, guys. So if you have feedback or something you would like to share or highlight, we can go over that right now. Okay, guys, and there's something I would like really want to highlight again. Sometimes you especially in meetings like this, right? You might have questions, but then you wouldn't want to um is it what's the word I'm looking for? It's really important for you to try to get out of that mode where if you have something to say, but there's this constraint or restraint, try to, it's a training, you know, it's a way to really retrain your mind to be out there, you know, try to put yourself out there. Um, yeah, try to show something, you know, that rewires your brain. So it's really a good opportunity. If you have questions, if you want to contribute, if you want to share something, maybe major takeaways or something that you'd like me to go over again, I think it's a really good platform for that, guys. Thank you. Okay, I guess we all good. So that's a really good question, man. Um I would say AI does not or will not take your job, but the developers who are using AI will. So it's good for those who are scaling up, and it's bad for those who are not. So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? So now more than ever, like I mentioned earlier, it's easier to build with AI right now. You can what took a 4 or 5 team to build, you can sit in one night and push something, validate it, right? So AI should be a tool stack, should be your hash one tool stack. Before you add everything else, you should say, I am an AI first dev. Yes, that is something that keeps you safe from the whole changes in the industry. But it's not to say being a developer is not a good thing, because um as much as yes, you can put out product, understanding the basic and the fundamental is important, even though yes, AI can help you skip the very basics, right? And if you it's really a bad, let me not say bad, but it's not so good right now to use the word junior developer in your resume. Like, no, say you're a junior developer, because practically AI has cut that part off. So the sooner you start taking agency, you start learning actively, because right now you see a lot of things are happening, right? People are just still trying to think about policy. How do we manage AI? If for those who are keeping up with the news, I think the Claude, is that Anthropic? Yeah, they did drop a very wild model, and the US government had to have them take it down. So right now they're trying to really clamp down on AI. But then the sooner we use some of these tools, the sooner we start using some of these tools, upskilling, understanding what's happening, that's basically what will set you apart, right? And coupling that with now building in public, now um community, because now a lot of organizations, you see, they're coming down to Africa, they're establishing community. You know why? Because community is the moat. That is what is going to actually, if you build a community around your product, that's basically something that helps protect you in the long run. Right now, anyone can build a carbon copy of your product. So building is now the easier part, but then distribution, now that's something you have to figure out, right? And what is distribution? Distribution is now the soft aspect we've spoken about so far. Now distribution, you have to talk to people. Now I have to show that I know I have a process. This was my process. Now distribution now ties to uh, the human touch. Now the machine. I mean, how can you outcode AI right now? But then AI can't talk to people. AI can do the user research. AI can do the different things AI can't do. But then a developer who kind of is staying ahead of that curve, who is learning, always learning and unlearning, because it's important to understand it's not about learning and learning, it's about unlearning a lot of the things we know initially, so we can relearn. And that's basically what's going to really set us apart in this new gold rush. Hopefully that answers the question, Rowan. Awesome, thank you. uh do we have someone else who might have something they would like to ask? Maybe you have a challenge or something individually. Yeah, we can have a way to provide feedback or input. Yes. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm dropping my LinkedIn. Right.
Hi. Yes, so the session has been insightful, a good eye opener for people who are looking to grow their careers in their respective fields. I personally, it has been great. Just looking forward to engaging in these communities and showing what I have learned, and also be able to interact with people who have better knowledge and things that they have learned. So thank you for that, Frank.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Joy, and I hope can you hear me? Oh, I'm saying I've joined a little bit late, but at least I've got a few things. And thank you, Frank, for the session. And I'm looking forward to even explore more opportunities. Yes, I'm an alumni, so yeah, I've joined a bit late.
Uh, uh, First, I'd like to thank Frank for the session. It has really been an insightful one, whereby I've been able to learn how to position myself, especially in this AI era. And I've liked the point of also showcasing the projects, actively showcasing the projects you're building, so that it may be easier for recruiters to connect with you. Yeah, so this session has really been so insightful to me.
Yes, I want to thank you and the Zindua team, yes, for putting this together. And as well, this has been an amazing session for me as well. And I want to take the opportunity as well to say to highlight CardTag, which is like I mentioned, a project I built and currently out in the market, which helps with say networking. So it's basically a system for you to track and manage the people you meet, right? So you get to see systems that help with reminding you, coming up with say follow up and automating those follow up with people you meet. So communication stay fresh. Yeah, I just wanted to seize that opportunity as well to put that out there. But then so far, this has been an amazing journey, guys. Chat, guys, and yeah, looking forward to connecting, guys. Asante.